Well, it's happened, guys. And just 3 books in, I finally found a Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I didn't like, and I'm here to tell you why. Hey guys, it's a lovely Sunday, but unfortunately, I don't have a very lovely review. So, if you follow me on Goodreads, you would know that I recently finished this book entitled Carrie Soto is Back by the queen herself, Taylor Jenkins Reid. So, narration time. Carrie Soto is Back was released last year, back in August 2022, and this book is super popular and it went to make it to the New York Times bestseller list, thanks in part of Reid's impressive work in the past. As for Taylor Jenkins Reid, you guys know she doesn't need any introduction. She's like the reigning queen of modern literature, and her novels, Daisy Jones and the Six, as well as Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, went on to have such huge fan bases around the world. And I can proudly say I was one of them. I absolutely loved both novels. I thought they were interesting and they were great fictional stories featuring complex women. Now, I want to highlight that Taylor Jenkins Reid really knows how to write about women. She knows how to make them flawed, to tell us their backstories, and of course to make us, the readers, root for them. Now, Carrie Soto has all those elements, but it's just not as good as a book as her sisters. And in order to explain why, let me talk about the plot first. Okay, so the titular character, Carrie Soto, is a fierce tennis player nicknamed the Battle Axe. She became like the biggest tennis player in the world back in the 80s, and she won 20 Grand Slam titles. And for Carrie and for all of us rooting from behind the page, she deserved every single one. Together with her dad Javier, Carrie had trained ruthlessly and fearlessly to get where she is. But like every successful woman, and any woman who dares to be honest, Carrie finds herself under the scrutiny of the press and the general public. And that's largely because she isn't afraid to tell it like it is. Carrie knows she works hard, so she isn't afraid to show her frustrations when she loses in court or when somebody badmouths her. She also has a sharp tongue and doesn't care who she bumps into to get to the top. And yes, having said all that, Carrie can be very unlikable. But as I've said, you'd root for her because she's not afraid to get what she wants. And then Carrie goes through like the cycle, like what every athlete goes through. She hits her peak and eventually transitions towards retirement when she hits her 30s. And of course, as soon as retirement comes calling, she's reluctant, but for inevitable reasons, she fast tracks into retirement actually. That is, until a few years later when a young player named Nikki Chan overtakes her record for the most Grand Slam titles. And Carrie decides it's time to get back to the court. Okay guys, I'll stop there because it's from this part where the story really picks up. Short break time. It's really hot. Okay, now one recurring theme in this book is second chances. Carrie experiences that not just with her career as an athlete, but also when it comes to the relationships around her. For one, she experiences this second chance to explore her relationship with her father, who was her coach and mentor for many years until she fired him. She also finds herself in a complicated relationship with her former flame and a tennis player like herself. And of course, and perhaps most importantly, it's another chance to show the world that Carrie Soto isn't backing down anytime soon. Now, all of Carrie's second chances in the book are all beautifully explored. And don't get me wrong, this book has everything that you love about Taylor Jenkins Reid. There's her easy to follow and addictive narrative that just leaves you wanting more. There's her signature characterization, the inclusivity, and the fact that her characters never really feel one-dimensional. But yet, I don't think I liked it as much as her previous novels. Now, one thing that I highlighted in my Daisy Jones and the Six review is that when Taylor Jenkins Reid, when she writes about this particular setting, you wouldn't really need to know a lot about that setting to be engaged with the book. So, for example, you aren't into old Hollywood or celebrity gossip, as was the case with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, or if you don't follow 70s music, like the setting for Daisy Jones and the Six, that wouldn't be an issue when you were reading these books. But for Carrie Soto is Back, I just couldn't get past all the tennis. And honestly, I was afraid of this happening actually. I mean, I know some of you guys are rolling your eyes right now and telling me that are you actually shocked that a book about tennis is, wait for it, about tennis? But I am surprised. there's so much tennis in here. And I know that's quite impressive on the author's end because she either had a lot of prior knowledge on the subject or did really good research on it. And I remember reading about an interview where Taylor Jenkins Reid said that she finds tennis really exciting, and I totally respect that. But you know, the thing is, Carrie's journey becomes one note because each chapter is just one match after another. And yes, there was like exciting parts and exciting bits here and there, but eventually you come to realize that it's a lot more interesting to watch tennis than to read about it. So I really hate to say this, but the book is really boring. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was really engaging at the start, but eventually it became predictable. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I did predict a lot of things about this book right up to what happens and when it happens. So yes, considering Taylor Jenkins Reid and her like caliber and her popularity, it was a bit of a letdown for me. Taylor Jenkins Reid has this weight of expectations about her, and I know a lot of people are raving about this book, and yes, I can totally see why. It's a classic TJR novel, but that doesn't make it any good. In my opinion, not every genre translates well in books. And I think that this book would have been a little bit more interesting if we actually explored the relationships that Carrie had around her rather than just focusing so much on tennis. So because it wasn't as great as her previous novels, and because I feel like Carrie's story was a little one note and predictable, I've rated Carrie Soto is Back 2 out of 5 stars. She is still, however, a great character and a great addition to the Taylor Jenkins Reid multiverse. Yes, I'm saying multiverse because an Evelyn Hugo character appears here too, so I would say if you are into TJR's books, check this out. So I guess that's it for me today. I am currently reading Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. I'm not so sure how to pronounce her last name. This is an insert because it's a borrowed book and I want to read it because I want to read another thriller. And of course, if you liked my video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please don't forget to be kind in the comments. I know I just gave a low rating to a very popular book, but I'd appreciate it if you guys just respected my opinion. We can't like all the same books, can we? I've also linked my Instagram and my Goodreads below, so you can follow those accounts if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Bye!